There was this one time I was hiring somebody who said, I'll replace you one day, and they were hired.
These both over here have gotten people 50 million views. You guys manage over 70, 80 clients, right?
I hate SEO. To date, I just don't like it at all.
We have done a lot of hard work, and we are doing a lot of hard work. Team members, and we don't call them employees. Like the team members, we help them. Employees is a very derogatory word. So recently we invested in an 8-figure agency course. We were approaching to 7 figures. We had to reach to 8. What will we do next?
I'm trying to do 30 minutes of learning every day, because you always have to learn. If you stop doing that, then there is no way to grow.
If you're a founder of a company, you actually end up working way more than if you're in a job.
For sure. Already planning our next trip to Bali.
So I was that typical topper person from school. I scored 90.
Typical topper.
Yeah, 94.75, no social life, no friends, nothing. I was fired from my second job. But I lost my job on Friday and I got a job on Monday because somebody noticed my LinkedIn profile. I left my job because of a medical issue and it was really big. It was one of the biggest things I've gone through in my life. I will never forget that day when he said, this is a miracle, you've healed naturally. I was like, okay, the universe has finally worked for me and I'll never let this go.
Welcome to the 4th episode of the Neet Bherwani Show, powered by LPS Brands. Today's episode is very exciting. It's going to be very, very knowledge driven. It's going to be on a platform which is going to help you find jobs. It's going to help you to increase your personal branding. And we have 2 experts over here who run an agency in India where they help people with their personal branding, especially CEOs and higher level management. Welcome to the show, Unnati and Vedika.
Thank you for having
So
us.
happy to be here.
Glad to have you guys over here. How are you finding Dubai?
Everything is super organized. That's what I was telling her. We entered the mall directly. We entered the metro directly. There are no checkpoints, checking points that I see in Delhi. And it's super decluttered, organized. Everybody, you see the signal. People are moving according to the signal and small things like that.
Understood. And what brought you both over here to Dubai?
So we are here for a 2-day event, but except that, so that's just a 2-day event, but on an average, we are staying here for 10 days. Just A, to experience the lifestyle, B, meet a lot of creators and network, and C is to have opportunities like these.
I am honored to have you both on my show. And I think this is your first international travel, right, Unnati?
Yes.
How did Dubai happen to be the first location?
I think everything starts and ends with this circle. For me, this place actually holds a lot of importance because I was in school, I was in 10th, I won a World Scholars Cup, which was supposed to happen in Dubai. But I was not able, so I qualified but was not able to come due to some issues in the family issues. And now when I get here with my own money for an event and now we have a company and I have an amazing co-founder, it just feels like life has taken a complete circle.
Absolutely. And what about you, Vedika? Is this your first country you've traveled to or you've been to many other countries before?
No, I've been to a few countries before, but this is the first country I'm traveling to with my own money, outside of India.
Amazing.
So that's always a special first. It was just lucky we came across the event. We were like, oh, you know what? Let's just go there. And then, one thing led to the other. We were like, let's just stay a few more days, experience, put ourselves a little bit out of our comfort zone and see what is happening in and around us and not just, being in India and just adopting that mindset. So
absolutely. And even earlier, this is for people watching, I was having a conversation with Vedika. Vedika was saying that she wanted to adopt a lifestyle of a digital nomad. Yeah. So there are many creators, Vedika, if you know Dear Aline, Nas Daily. These guys also they keep traveling all around the world. Do we see something of that probably for both of you in the future?
100%. We're already planning our next trip to Bali.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, yeah, for sure.
It's good. We can do that. It's just that we also know the importance of now having an office, having our team around, etc.
Got it.
So I think for the next 6 months to 1 year, we'll be in that phase of digital nomad. But eventually we would like to have a settled place to conduct business, to be in that mindset. When we enter the office, we should be in the zone. Right now we're 24/7 working.
If you're a founder of a company, you actually end up working way more than if you're in a job.
For sure.
You both have been in a job. And what's your working schedules like, both of you? How often do you work? Do you take time off from work? Do you have a 9 to 5? Do you have 2 days off?
So speaking for me, I personally, it's always like whenever I feel like it, I take time off.
Okay.
So if I don't feel like it in a week, it's fine. Like I don't beat myself up for it that, oh, I'm not taking breaks. It's fine. Like I will feel like taking breaks more in maybe the next week. So like I don't beat myself up for that. But apart from that, I think we all have this, like both of us, we have like, okay, we have to go to the gym. Like there are some non-negotiables that we have during the day that we don't want to.
Can you elaborate on these non-negotiables? What is it that you have to do? Like gym being one among them. What are the other ones?
So for me, I think gym, going for like 10K walking, 10K steps as well.
Every day?
Yeah.
Amazing.
So that's the second thing. Like both of us are very into like maintaining a good physical lifestyle. So that's the second thing. Third thing would be to spend time with the family, not like, just shut yourself up in a room and do that. I'm trying to do like 30 minutes of learning every day, because you always have to learn. Like if you stop doing that, then there is no way to grow.
True. And we'll hit on this particular aspect in the later part of the podcast. Very valid point, but yeah, go on.
Yeah, I think those are the non-negotiables for me. If I have that, if I don't have that in the day, then I just feel like, everything is going wrong. I'm not, those are the main
And
things.
all these things which you're saying that shape your day, are these the things which you do at the starting of the day? And then, or you leave it at the end of the day, or do it whenever you find time in the middle?
Honestly, whenever I find time.
Whenever you find time.
Yeah.
Understood. What about you?
My non-negotiables, of course, 10K steps and then going to the gym. And also both of us invest in nutritionists and coaches and just keep a very balanced diet. So we are crazy about our diets as well.
Got it.
But having said that, both of us enjoy company of our friends, just being around them, etc. And all of these are people who are on the same journey as us.
Got it.
And stuff like that. So it's just always brainstorming once in a week happening. Also, one non-negotiable that we have is to reach out to people we aspire to work with or learn from.
Okay.
So recently we invested in an 8-figure agency course. So we knew that we were approaching to 7 figures. We had to reach to 8. What will we do next?
Got it.
So we had the whole OKR system and everything laid out in front of us and stuff like that. So learning is the
absolutely
non-negotiable. For me, another thing which is non-negotiable is my therapy sessions.
Okay.
I would be lying if I don't go there and just do and say that I don't have time for it. It's a part of my life.
Right.
I'm not. It doesn't mean I'm going through a lot. Nothing. It's just that it's good to have those decluttering mental sessions with somebody who has medical authority over what's happening.
Absolutely. And I'm so happy that you're sharing stuff like this. People think twice before sharing anything when it comes to, they think that they're ill, but it's actually no big deal. Like how you have to take care of your physical body, you got to take care of your mental mind as well. Even I myself have been to therapy. So that's a separate discussion that we'll have probably later if you're comfortable sharing. And it definitely helps a lot.
Absolutely. You don't have to go through a lot to go to a therapist.
Right.
It's okay. Just go see. There'll be some point you'll be bullied sometimes in your school. Something might have happened, some downfall. We all go through.
Right.
So just get it out of your system so that you have things better things to work for.
Exactly. And that'll be a separate discussion.
Absolutely.
We'll absolutely hit on it later. Anyways, guys, what I want to know is you have these non-negotiables, right? And in companies, what we do have is every time culture is built from the top down, right? From the people who have founded the company. We'll get into how you both met. But before that, I want to understand is these non-negotiables, do they go to your employees as well? Do they end up following any of the things that you do you inspire any of these things?
Absolutely. I'm not sure about inspiration, but we have every 2 weeks now, we have these calls where we talk about their goals.
Okay.
And how we can help them achieve.
Okay.
So now employees do share with us when they have hit 1,000 followers on Twitter. or they're completing 3,000 steps every day because they've seen our stories and they've seen that we do it.
Got it.
So now they also send us pictures and stories and just tell us. And even things like going to therapy. So if one of our employees go to therapy, and now she's very clearly stated that, guys, on Saturday from 11 to 12, I'll be in my therapy session.
Got it.
And we respect that.
Absolutely.
So of course, we're not saying we're the best company to work with or whatever, but whatever at least we believe and we have done for ourselves, we also help our team members, and we don't call them employees. Like they're team members, we help them. Employees is a very derogatory word.
Okay. Team, you and your team. Yes. Perfect. My apologies from my end. Okay. So great to hear that, and that you're helping people achieve their goals also. You're understanding. And you said you do these calls every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Wow. If I have to ask you, do people join your agency looking at your own personal branding? Like, hey, I want to be like Unnati. Hey, I want to be like Vedika.
There was this one time I was hiring somebody who said, I'll replace you one day, and they were hired. Yeah, so that happens.
Right.
But so that's the thing, that most of the people who look at us think that and I was telling her, if you look at our stories, it's just near to perfect.
Right.
The life is great.
Right.
But we have done a lot of hard work, and we are doing a lot of hard work. Yes, these people join us for that purpose. But once they realize what's happening, how much hard work it is, they have a choice. They either go in that direction, or they understand that for them, work-life balance, traveling, etc., more things are on a priority. So that's fine.
Got it. All right, guys. Thank you for sharing that. And now I'd like to hear from Vedika. Vedika, if you can tell us, who is Vedika? What does she enjoy? Like, why is she doing what she's doing? Hit us.
Okay. So let's start with me in college. So I started with BCom. And that time I really didn't want to do BCom, but I thought I'll do graphic designing, but I did not prepare for it earlier. So I thought BCom will be an easy course. Side by side, I will do graphic designing and learn and try to get into the top 4 colleges. I'd made a list that these are the top 4 colleges, otherwise I'll let it be.
Okay.
And so again, I split my attention between both, so it didn't work out for both of the things. I was not even like scoring well in my BCom thing, and was not enjoying that at all, because it's just something I just took, and I didn't get into the 4 top colleges that I wanted to get into. So I dropped that idea completely. Then I was like, I'm not enjoying this at all. And and then I was just like, how do I find out? Like, how do I understand? So I just started doing random courses. I started applying to random internships on Internshala back then. And that's when I came across the term digital marketing. It wasn't very popular back then.
This was in which particular year?
This was in like second year end.
2019.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
And and then I was just figuring that out, and it seemed interesting to me. Like, at least that was something I was decent at also, and was also interested in that. So a little bit, not a lot. So I started taking up more courses. Like, I was just doing anything, like Google Ads. I was learning about SEO. Like, started eliminating. I hate SEO. Like, to date, I just don't like it at all. So started eliminating and figuring out that, okay, fine, writing is something that I am a little naturally okay at, better than average at. And so I think I did a course where you had to write your own blogs. And that's when what happened was that everyone, like, I was just sharing the blogs amongst my own circle, and everyone started like telling me out of their way, like random people who haven't even spoken to, that, oh, this is a really nice blog. I was like, okay, maybe like there's something here. So that's when I came across, I did the LinkedIn marketing workshop
by Vaibhav.
Yeah.
That's a separate discussion we'll have, right?
Yeah.
Because even I have done, guys, like this is something me and Vedika share. We both attended the 5-day LinkedIn workshop by Vaibhav Society, and we'll get back to it. Sorry to disturb you.
Yeah. So I was like in the second batch actually.
Got it.
So I figured out that, okay, you can write content on LinkedIn. I did not know that. So we wrote, I was like, okay, might as well, I'm doing blogs, so I'll do LinkedIn as well. And I started writing content on LinkedIn. and started getting like a little traction. I was like, okay, I didn't have any connections. I hardly had 200-300 of people who I knew, like from,
Got it.
So I was just writing stuff, and suddenly one of the posts after I think 1 week, just 1 week of regular content posting, it got like around 500 likes, which was a lot for a person who just started.
Correct.
So
500 likes, and the number of impressions would have been even more higher.
Yeah, like 50,000 to 1 lakh impressions.
Exactly,
and 50,000. Yeah.
Okay.
So I was like, wow, maybe this is good for me. And us time I was also taking up random projects from people who I knew to do their marketing for very less money or for free. And that was the only way I was getting leads till now. So then after that post, immediately I saw like all my posts were getting more traction than before. So I got a lot of followers also through that post. And that's when I started, like after I think a month, I got like my first few leads.
Okay.
Who came inbound. Inbound leads are basically people who reach out to you on their own.
Right.
So I was like, wow, maybe this is like really great for me, because now at least I have my own lead funnel, not relying on my network and stuff like that. So yeah, that's how it started. And then I took my father was like, okay, why don't you just take a workshop? I was like, I don't even have that many followers. Why will people even come? So my father always tells me that you should just do stuff like without thinking about the outcome. You should just do it without having any expectations, but knowing that you might help a few people. Okay. So I just announced the workshop on LinkedIn. 15 people came for it. It was like
that's great numbers for your first workshop.
$250. Yeah. 15 people came.
15 people, $250.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, great. So I gave the workshop, and after that, one person called me on WhatsApp. And like one of the participants after the workshop, he said, workshop was great, but I don't have the time to manage it. So I was like, okay, I don't do this, but he said that, are you willing to try it? So again,
got it.
I was just saying yes to any opportunity.
So the person who reached out to you wanted you to do their personal branding,
manage his LinkedIn, end to end. How I grew my LinkedIn, he wanted me to replicate the same thing for him.
Understood.
So yeah, I told him, yeah, sure, I'll try it out. If it works, then great. And for his profile, it worked out. And that's when I realized that there might be a market for this. So I just included it in my services, just, as an add-on from like with the other things I was doing. So then more and more people started reaching out to me for that because of my strong personal brand on LinkedIn. So yeah, that's basically how I got into the entire personal branding thing, especially LinkedIn personal branding. And I mean,
perfect.
And I remember Vedika had written lead generator in her bio.
Yeah. Right, which has undergone a massive change. Right? What's your bio say right now?
I don't remember.
Do you remember a bio, Unnati?
Yeah, I do.
What does it say?
Generated 50 million views for founders. So before you enter that meeting, we have built your brand on LinkedIn.
Exactly, guys. These both over here have gotten people 50 million views. I think you guys manage over 70-80 clients, right? That's your thing. And through personal branding, these are massive numbers. 50 million is like 5 crores. Like, it's crazy. We'll slowly delve deeper into how they helped their clients to get that. But before we go for that, let's continue. Back to you, Unnati. Let's hear about you. Who is Unnati? What drives her, and why is she doing what she's doing today?
So I was that typical topper person from school. I scored 90.
Typical topper.
94.75, no social life, no friends, nothing in school. And I was not good at studies, by the way. It's just that I was good at just reading and then getting into my brain. So I did that. I got 95-ish percentage. I was still not the good candidates for economics honors, but I did economics honors from South Campus Delhi University. But as soon as I entered my college, I saw everybody around who was at 95, 96, 97%.
Got it.
Which meant I had no USP now. Like in school that, you're in top 3. But here, every top 3 is now in this college.
Exactly.
inferiority complex, then just not being comfortable in my own skin, everything happened. So I decided two things: that this course is not for me, so I'll do internships. I did 8 internships in my college, and for us, attendance did not matter, at least in my college. So I had that upper hand that I was going out doing internships. And second was, and which I still carry, and I'm so glad that Vedika shares the same vision, is to be very fit physically, emotionally, mentally. And that's the journey I traveled in college.
Okay.
So now I was out of college. It was still first division. I scored 62% in college. Came out of it, got my first internship, got my first job. It was paying me 30,000 in hand.
That's decent for
That's very decent because I paid 30,000 for 3 years of my college.
Right.
So
that's like return on investment in the first
day
month.
one.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was good. Everything was hunky dory now, I thought. And then a lot of things flipped for me personally and professionally. And then moving on in the journey, I did my first job. I went to my second job. I was fired from my second job.
Wow.
And I was not very active on LinkedIn at that point in time. But I lost my job on Friday and I got a job on Monday because somebody noticed my LinkedIn profile. And that's where I realized, okay, that I just made it for the sake of it, but it worked out. Right. So
that's like the perfect work experience, right? When you see in work experience, ideally, in most people's case, there would be some gap. But with you leaving on a Friday and joining on a Monday,
was like, it's my flex now. Yeah. And what did they like? I just said, I'm not your typical growth hacker.
Got it.
That's it. And they liked it. They connected with me. I said, oh, I lost my job. And then they gave me a job.
Wow.
So that happened for a year.
Before you go on, like growth hacking is a term that many people use. Vaibhav Sisanti also calls himself a growth hacker. If for the audience, can you elaborate what a growth hacker is? What do they do?
See, at that time, what Unnati was doing was not growth hacking. She was just shitting around. But now I would say growth hacking is when you cut through the process of so you have a long process, which is the proper way of doing marketing. And then black hat is when you do some shady things.
Okay.
But if you can cut short the steps in the right way of marketing, that's growth hacking. You're hacking growth, but in the right way.
Got it.
So if say I want to pitch something organic and I want my client to have 10,000 followers on Instagram, I would not do paid promotion. That is paid marketing. If I've promised organic, I would just get a shout out from a very big page. That is organic.
Got it.
But that's growth hacking because that relevant audience could come to him in 1 month with one shout out rather than just posting content for 3 months and letting things happen based on algorithm.
Understood.
That is a growth hack.
Okay. And even the cost would be significantly much lower.
In the long term. In the short term, this shout out has costed something.
Got it.
But when you accumulate it for the next 6 months, it's actually very less.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. Sorry. Go on.
So I left my job because of a medical issue and it was really big. It was one of the biggest things I've gone through in my life. And that was January 2020. I was scheduled for my surgery in March 2020, but the nationwide lockdown happened. So I was jobless and my surgery was due. I could not work because it was an eye infection, eye issue. And then I also had corneal erosion and stuff like that. So they put a lens in my eye and I was scheduled to get my surgery done in August. But because of that lens, I was comfortable working. I started working. That's when one of my friends gave me a 30-day LinkedIn challenge. So Vaibhav's course came out. I did not take that course. He just said, why don't you write on LinkedIn for 30 days? You're anyway jobless, hopeless, moneyless, whatever less. Just write for 30 days.
All this while you had the eye problem being...
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
And my third and my fifth post got viral.
Oh, wow. That's
Yeah. That was big for me.
Okay.
And then...
when you say viral, how many views or impressions did it get?
All right. So one of them had 700 likes and one of them had 550 likes.
That's crazy numbers.
Yeah, that's crazy. And I still remember the first post that went viral was a timeline. 2019 lost my job. 2019 December this happened. And the last line was, and it was such a hopeless line that I have 3 clients, 2 of them are not replying.
Oh, wow.
So let's see how this timeline continues.
So guys, basically what Unnati has shared, the hook was very crazy, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I think that's one of the major reasons why posts go viral. The first line, it's similar to a video. Like the first 3 seconds, the first line has to be, "I lost my job." Everyone wants to know what happened after that, right? So that post did 500 likes.
770. Yeah.
Very good. Yes, go on.
That happened.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is like my thing now. Like, after losing everything professionally, just getting that one hope, okay, this is working out. I started doing, I started reading about it. And then I landed my first client via Facebook groups.
Okay.
And that just changed the trajectory. And then we're here.
Wow. People say that Facebook is a dying platform, but you got your first. What is your take on this?
That was 2 years back. It is a dying platform.
It is now. See, I had never lost hope. And in our course today also, we teach about how to get leads from Facebook. It's just that circumstances and ads not working, ads account getting blocked. Yes, it is. But if you see, for somebody who wants to just make 5,000, get that first beta client, it's still alive.
Right.
Go into Facebook groups, you'll get so many people nationally or internationally who want to get work done at dirt cheap prices.
Okay.
So you can make your first 50,000 rupees through Facebook.
Got it.
That's after that you won't be able to scale further mostly.
But in
50,000
who makes 50,000?
Yeah, it's good.
At least to make that amount, it's important. Okay, got it. Perfect. And yes, and after this, you landed your first client.
I landed my first client, and then I went to my doctor.
Okay.
And then he said, I don't need a surgery. The lens was taken out, and that was 19th August 2020. Sitting on that chair.
Remember the date?
Yeah.
So shit.
I will never forget that day when he said, "Oh, this is a miracle. You've healed naturally." I was like, okay, the universe has finally worked for me, and I'll never let this go. So from that day, I think I've never taken any single opportunity or day for granted.
Got it. Wow. You remember the date so well, like a birthday. That shows like how significant that date is for you, right? Do you remember the time?
Oh yes, it was a 12:40 appointment.
Oh my god. Okay, all right. And moving on to the next thing. Okay, so you got your clients through Facebook groups. You found your clients. People started approaching you. And then how did you both meet? Like, how did this happen? Overall?
So I think cut to 2021.
Yeah.
Like end of 2021. I had my own set of clients. She had her own set, like an agency. And so one of my clients, she wanted to do Instagram. I was like, I don't do Instagram right now. I'm just focusing on these two platforms. But I know a person who is starting to get active and she's getting good reach. So maybe she can help you out. So she said, no, I want you in the loop. So because I was handling a lot of things for her. So she said, you find someone and you figure it out.
Okay.
I was like, okay, fine, let me see. So I spoke to her, told her ki, she wants me in the loop. So do you mind doing like this part of it? I can take this part of it because that doesn't require too much of my time. So Unnati was like, yeah, sure, like let's do it. So that's when we started like working on one project collaboratively kind of a thing. And then that's how we started talking. I didn't even know her. Like I just texted her on LinkedIn because I was seeing her post on LinkedIn. And that's when we started talking a little bit and we were just sharing that, agency, this, that, so many issues. This is we were basically bonding on like our problems. Because it was so similar, because we were in the same kind of growth trajectory.
Right.
So that's when we started talking, and then I was telling her, I'm thinking that if I collaborate or find a co-founder, it'll be easier for me to grow maybe faster as well.
So you initiated the idea.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
And that's when she was like, even I was exploring it, and we can try it out. Like we were just like, let's give it 1-2 months and see how if our synergies are matching, because it might not also.
Right.
So then we took on. So I told her, okay, cool. I'm not going to take any of your clients, and neither am I giving mine. We will like both work on maybe
new clients.
Yeah, like whichever new comes. So we took on, I think, two clients, and both of them left us in like 2 months. And then we were like, oh, okay. I guess this might not work. But then somehow we both were like, I feel like it was fine. Like we both felt like our synergies were there. Maybe the client wasn't good, or maybe because of other reasons. So we're like, okay, let's try once more
Got it.
and see if this doesn't work out, then like we both can continue with our journey. Yeah. So then.
So you gave yourself another one try, another one client.
One more. Yeah.
After losing 2 clients. Okay. Okay, got it.
Yeah. And then that client did really well. And then so then we got a little bit of confidence boost. And then that client referred us to, I think, 3 more clients. And then then we started doing outreach together, started closing people. So from there, whatever we were closing was together.
Perfect. Amazing story.
The best part about this was that we it never started with friendship. So both of us respect each other professionally. Right?
Yeah.
So she knows my story. She knows that I'm not just, doing shit, or I'll not pull off some shit. And same goes for
Got
her.
it.
I know that she's very responsible and she will be there, whatever happens. Right. And because it was not starting out of a friendship, we were very candid in sharing feedback. Oh, don't do this. You're very laid back. Oh, don't do this. You're doing it too fast. We're doing it all wrong. And it was so good. I have never worn a layer on my face and talked to her. It's always very candidly, and she knows everything.
This
and
is who I am.
Yeah. So that happened, and also blind. So a lot of people now come to us and ask, "Hey, can we be co-founders? What is the paperwork?" We did not figure out the paperwork until 1 year of working together. We were not concerned what happens on paper. If I like her, I like her. If I don't.
And it also wasn't ever like, oh, Unnati, I'm bringing the lead, so I'll take 70% of it. You take 30, or I'll take 60.
You didn't even discuss the percentages.
It was just automatically decided it'll be 50-50. Yeah. I'm also giving my best. You also give your best. I'll try to get whoever I can. You try to get whoever you can. And that's basically.
And again, the third point is trusting each other blindly with money.
Got it.
Like, I'll never double check anything she says.
Okay.
Or she'll not do that. Yeah, we of course point out,
a mistake can happen, but it'll never be intentional mistakes.
Got it. It's
And
like you guys are in a relationship, guys.
And actually, if I imagine, if the next 4 years we plan to do this together, it's actually a relationship.
Right.
She takes most of my time, more than my family, more than my personal commitments or anything. So this is practically a relationship.
Right. And actually, you just hit it bang on, right? I was about to go into the fact, like, starting a company with a family member versus starting it with someone who you have worked with in the past. Now, starting a company with a family member has a huge risks, right? Like you pointed out, you can't give them feedback in a certain way because that ruins relationships.
Correct.
Like, even like when you discuss things like pay and all that stuff, it just becomes very awkward overall. You maybe, I've seen people who were best friends like no longer be best friends after they started working together.
I think we both we thought that if it doesn't work out, we just part ways, it's fine.
Because we have nothing to lose.
Exactly.
There we have our own personal brands, employees, we work in.
Right.
We are self-sufficient. It's just that now we want to do better things, and that's how our academy came into the picture, Crack Those Socials, which now has like 1,200 students at the moment while we are recording this. The ads are on.
Okay.
We have our consultations, corporate consultations doing rounds. Both of us have been invited for TEDs and Josh and this and that and whatever.
When is all that happening?
Very soon.
I'm waiting to see it, guys. Like, you both will be speaking on one stage together?
No.
Oh, okay.
This is the first time we've come together, like, speaking.
I'm honored.
You are actually.
Yeah, for the people, like watching, it was tough to get these two together. Like, today, lots of stuff happened. We should not get into that, but inshallah, we are here today recording at 4 p.m. UAE time. Anyways, back to this. Like, you hit about the topic of your academy, right? It's called Crack Those Socials, where you teach people about Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram, if I'm not wrong.
That's first course, and the second is teaching them about lead generation via outbound.
Okay. And getting 1,300 paying students is massive. Like, how did that happen? I know you got 15 people to pay, like, initially when you did that, but this is now we're talking in like 4 digits over here. How did that
strategic moves?
Okay.
3 things for this. First is her audience is great.
Okay.
I would say contribution goes to her. 70-80% of our students are because of her LinkedIn, Twitter, and Instagram.
Okay.
The second part too is it is our newsletter, which is right now at 6,000-7,000 subscribers, where we publish one newsletter every Friday without fail, and it's massive value. And that's how we convert for our course, because there's some context and why people can trust us.
Okay.
Third is our free workshops and masterclasses. So we just recently conducted a masterclass that was supposed to be for 200 people, and 2,000 people joined. So we had to do it for 2 days. That's like the amount of craziness that happens when we are conducting our free workshops.
Okay.
So that happens. So these are the 3 sources that these students are coming from. Now we've added the 4th source, which is ads.
Okay, you've started doing paid ads.
Correct.
Right. Okay. For the 5-day workshop which Vaibhav recently ran, like I saw his face everywhere. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah. He was running like massive. And that time Facebook was booming. Like the ads were doing really well. The ROI was great. So that was the perfect time to actually have. Now the time is not that great.
Yeah.
Perfect.
But summer it was really good.
Understood.
Yeah.
And going back to the course, so the second course is an upsell over the thing. Okay. Selling is an art, right? Especially selling a course, even like giving something for free, and like, of course, you're providing people value, but then in the end, you would of course say like, hey guys, this is this course. Like, how many people, if say 2,000 people join that meeting of yours, how many people actually stayed back and signed for the first course?
We knew we'll outpower the numbers because we just had 60 seats.
Okay.
That was for the second course. Second course, just that it's a cohort-based ish kind of a course. So we just cap it at 60. We never crossed that.
So our calculation was 200 people will convert to 60.
Got it.
But now 2,000 also had the opportunity to just convert. So we got 66 seats full because some people requested, got in 66. But now we have like crazy wait period and all these people just in the waiting list to join the batch.
Right.
So that was the.
So that's good, right? Like even when you're trying to sell, it's always about creating a demand for a particular product which you have created with a wait list.
Yeah, we're creating like an aspiration. I want to join that wait list.
Amazing stuff, guys. Thank you so much for sharing that. Now, I think I personally want to start my own course someday. Like if you can, like probably give me 3 tips for me. Like for example, I want to teach people on how to podcast. Like you can see, I'm doing a podcast with you guys. And my long-term vision is to eventually take this further, because people think podcasting is very tough, and actually it's not. It's pretty simple. How should I approach it? Let's hear it from the guru's themselves.
Okay, so the 3 things that you should keep in mind when you are wanting to sell a course, or are you talking about making the course or selling it?
Making the course, and of course, then I'm thinking about like creating videos, and then eventually I'll come to sell the course myself. Yeah.
Okay, so 3 tips on making the course.
Okay.
One, it needs to be very authentic. Like it can't, you shouldn't be like, oh, do this. It should come from a place of authority that I have done this. This is what happened. This is why I'm telling you that this is how you should be doing it. That has always worked for me, because that's what we did for our LinkedIn, Twitter. The second thing that you should keep in mind is that you have to form a community, right? So keep like questions in between so that it becomes more engaging, because again, this is the era of short form content. Nobody likes to listen to like, huge pieces of content. So try to keep like short videos and try to keep it like engaging, so that if you're doing a recorded version, it's
still
more
like small clips.
Yeah. And the third thing that I would keep in mind would be that just like, I don't know. I think 2 years. Third end.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Super actionable. Super actionable in the sense that I have done this. This would have worked out. But here are 3 steps.
Got it.
Finish.
Thank you for sharing that. Like, and this brings to a very interesting point: community. Right. Community management is tough. There are people who have that as a full-time job, and like your newsletter of 7,000, it's like a community of people who have voluntarily opted in for that. Like, how do you like, and I think most of your sales, Dear Aline, if you know Dear Aline, she says that 95% of her sales comes from newsletters. Does the same apply even in your case?
We have not heavily monetized the newsletter.
Because we just started. We didn't want to be like, oh, you've just signed up. Here is the thing we were trying to sell to you. So we want to ease into that process. But yeah, that is not it now. I'm trying to do that heavily on my personal brand, but not through the newsletter.
Got it.
But yeah, like for community management, we've hired someone. Like we always believe that anything that can be outsourced that we think will take most of our time is outsourced.
And also somebody is doing a better job at it.
Yeah.
So community management for our personal brands that we do, right? So wherever we go, Delhi, Bangalore, Mumbai, in Dubai, we're able to conduct these meetups. What is this? This is community building. 10 people share the story. At least in our meetups in India, we get 50 to 100 people attending them, right? Now, these people, 25% share it on their socials, and then their friends or their following follow us. And that's how the community is made. We do live sessions, free calls.
Got it.
This newsletter is absolutely free. This is part of what I and Vedika do for our community.
Got it.
Now, we've hired somebody for the Crack Those Socials community because it just gets very overwhelming. And also because everybody everywhere is asking the same set of questions.
Right.
We wanted somebody to just give a new perspective.
Got it.
All those things. We made sure that with our inputs, our community has the Crack the Social community has more access. So there's another person who's adding to it.
Understood. Thank you for sharing that. And I made a mistake earlier. Actually, it's not a newsletter by Dear Aline. It's her email list. Like from the email list, that's when she gets massive conversion. There's a video on it, like how I doubled my income. Like you should probably check out that video.
Nice.
So just from an email list, like she went from probably I think $200,000 to $400,000. I'll send you the link of that post. Anyways, let's go to the next part of the meeting that we're having right now. You both are massive on LinkedIn. Like that's your LinkedIn first creators. Like
correct.
Of course you're heavily active on Instagram also, even you're active, but LinkedIn is your primary driver, right? Why should more and more people be active on LinkedIn?
It's very simple. Right now, if there are, I think, around 320 active million users, you can just check that, 320 million. Out of that, 1% people are creating content on LinkedIn.
Okay.
If you compare that to Instagram, it's way more. So I think Instagram is getting a little saturated because more and more people are coming here, but LinkedIn is still not explored that yet. And Twitter is still not even more explored that yet. So it's still a good time to join LinkedIn and create content because there are more consumers that are going to read your content versus people who are creating content.
Got it.
So there are 3 things that you will get out of LinkedIn. Through your personal brand, if you are trying to build any sort of startup, if you're an entrepreneur trying to build a startup, you will get great talent come to you wanting to work with you.
Okay.
So that's the first thing. The second thing that you will get is that leads for anything. Like if you have an agency, you'll get leads. If you are running a startup and you are wanting B2B leads, then you'll get that also through that. So you'll get speaking gigs, invites, all of that you will get through LinkedIn.
Okay.
Right. So that's the second great thing about LinkedIn. And the third thing would be obviously community. If you're building a great community, influencer marketing is really like popping up now. Right. You start getting brand sponsorships. You can make your own course, sell that also. So that way also LinkedIn can be monetized. So,
understood.
3 great sources to actually start posting content on LinkedIn.
Right. And even like if I have to like something of recently to both of you, we'll go away from LinkedIn slightly and come back to it. You both were hiring recently also, right? Like you put out stories saying that we have 2 open positions in our company and you're saying finding great talent is tough.
Yeah.
And I think I read a post either by you, Unnati, or you, Vedika, that you actually spend a lot of time interviewing people. You don't hire fast. And when you have such a long process and when you have people themselves approaching you, and has this ever happened in your company, like where people have amazing people have approached you?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
All the time. I think people who have been following us or have been in touch with us are pretty awesome at what they do.
Okay.
We get pitched constantly. We get a lot of interns in our inbox, and then all these people who want to work with us. But yes, if you like, I can just say that if you get through our hiring process, you're probably actually working with one of the best personal branding agencies.
Oh wow! Now I'm curious.
So Unnati's been an HR. When she was trying to explore the different things that she was doing, she was an HR for I think a couple of a year, 1 year.
It.
So her questions are just, I'm just silent during the. She's like, oh, tell me this.
Yeah, you saw that yesterday, right?
Right.
Yeah. So I just question people left and right, and if you're able to crack that interview, you're very good. If you don't get hired here, you'll get hired somewhere.
So you said that you had like a crazy interview process. How is it like? Say I'm a candidate who applied. What is next for me?
You have to give us a 1-minute pitch as to why should we hire you.
Okay. By a video.
Video.
So that itself is tough for people to make.
Absolutely.
So, right? Okay.
You don't want to put in the effort.
There are many, like out of say 30 people who apply, say, like I think 15 people don't put a video. We immediately remove them.
Right.
Like that's
a filter for you.
Yeah.
Like first one. Okay.
Then we want your work samples, etc. Then we hop on a call. We do a skill set sanity check wherein we give you live assignments on the call, and we want to see how quick your brain works.
Okay.
Right. And you don't have to give us the perfect test copy or anything. We just want to see how fast you are.
Got it.
Are you tech savvy? Don't ask me where's the share button on Zoom. You should know that. Like the basics are seen and taken care of.
Right.
Then the second round happens wherein we ask questions left and right. What are your financial aspirations? What are your emotional and all those parts of life where I know that this person wants to stay here for long. This is what they want to achieve. And I want to see if I can align with them for the next 3 years in my head.
Right.
If that's not happening, we'll not.
Yeah, like Unnati asked questions like how many family members you have. She wants to see if you are like helping them financially. Are they going to? She like till there is where she goes to understand
where I'm coming from. So I support my family.
Right.
Vedika has been contributing greatly, and I want to know if you have that kind of responsibility. So you will take my work more seriously. You will take any work more seriously. And I need to know these details about your life, else I'll not be somebody you can look up to for greater salaries and greater opportunities and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
So that happens, and then finally is the negotiation round.
Understood. Okay. Crazy. And speaking of negotiation also, like I think I again read one of your posts, right? Like you said, you don't mind paying people a higher amount of money, but like how does an employee say, for example, this is for the employees who work for you guys, and of course they would want to negotiate a higher salary later on. Like what skills are you guys looking within them to provide them that?
So very recently, we have realized this, that if people are able to manage on their own, that's like the biggest USP. You don't have to be the best at everything. It's just that when you know that a client has messaged on the group and you'll not wait for either of us to address it and you'll address it on yourself, that's a perk for us. Right. Because with 60 WhatsApp groups buzzing and with Slack channels, which is no less than a fish market, we want people to now take leadership positions so that we can hire team under them. So right now, the 10 people who are working with us become the core foundation of what we are going towards.
Got it.
Right. And if these 10 people have the accountability thing in them, that's like great. Take my money.
Okay. And so basically what you're saying is like reduce your burden.
Yeah.
Like basically free up your time. Don't be completely reliant on both of you. But do you give your employees that kind of authority?
Feedback?
Yeah.
Authority, yes. Feedback,
sure.
yes. And also we give them a promise. Like we have this in mind that we want to hit 100 clients by certain period of time. So they know that if we're saving up our time by giving them more responsibilities, it's not because we want to party.
Right.
We will be opening another academy. We will be opening more consultation slots. We will be doing meetings and podcasts like these. And we will be reaching our client mark. So we'll give you more opportunities. You will be working with people you have idealized in your life and we'll be paying you better.
Got it.
But that is when you free up our time. So we're not partying here.
Got it.
Stuff like that.
Got it. So guys, if you're working for them, you know what to do. Anyways, back to LinkedIn. Web of Sicily, right? Now, this is my question to Vedika, right? I took up the course again. Vaibhav is responsible for the job I'm having currently.
Wow.
Okay. So the previous job which I got was a cybersecurity role. Okay, which I got placed in campus. And I was looking for a job change. I was never meant to get into cybersecurity. And Vaibhav said something about this that, like even if you don't have a skill set, I didn't have any experience in influencer management, like, content. Like he said that work on it from the side, do your own thing, like start posting content on your own. So that's what I did. And and the second thing is like, create opportunities for yourself. If you remember, right, in the workshop, he said that like, the openings, there are unlimited amount of openings in the market. So I came and I met my startup founder. I told him I'll do this, basically things that in the company which wasn't being done. So I started. So that's how Vaibhav influenced me. Now, speaking of Vaibhav Sisanti, his company Growth School, right, is one of the most valued startups in India right now. What impact did his personal branding do? Like, do you feel that had an impact on Growth School being this valuable?
Of course. I mean, I think it was one of LinkedIn's top startups as well, right? So I think even Weber said it in his own course, like they see, like LinkedIn is seeing so many people talk about Growth School all the time, because obviously he's teaching about LinkedIn. People are talking about Growth School on LinkedIn, stuff like that. So, I think he was one of the first few people to actually talk about LinkedIn growth in general, like, one of, at least in India. So definitely like he first few people to,
And what do investors needs? Or what do investors need? Numbers. He had all the numbers.
Right.
He had 150,000 followers, I feel, when he was getting this funding.
Okay.
No, more than that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So around 2 lakh followers. 2 lakh followers, massive engagement. I think it was batch 30th of this thing
LinkedIn
going, and 100 people in every batch.
Right.
1,000 people in every batch.
Oh my God.
Towards the end of the thing, we had 1,000 people joining.
And those numbers, anybody would invest in this man. Right? So personal branding, but personal branding not blindly. I can show you 10 people with 150,000 followers, 1 lakh followers, such shitty content.
Got it.
He was adding value.
Yeah.
So that happened. And then strategic use of growth marketing.
Got it.
Growth School is actually on the platform of growth marketing, wherein everything was so strategic. As much as you were irritated by seeing him on all the ads, etc., it worked out.
Right.
So doesn't matter. It worked out for him and so well. And still people talk about his courses, right? So investors got what they want. Exactly. They had number, they had publicity, they had somebody who knew in and out marketing, which means a perfect starter pack. You will know that you will get ROI on your investment.
Got it. Okay, thank you for sharing that, guys. And now let's also look at some other aspects. Okay, people use LinkedIn also for searching jobs, right? Like, what would be your advice to people? Like, should they start? Like, because there are many aspects which go on job hunting. Like, if someone wants to find their ideal job, how should they start from there?
Okay, so there is a section on LinkedIn called jobs.
Right.
So what I would recommend, I think everyone wants to do remote now.
Right.
So there's a section where you can choose whether you want to do remote or you want to do a hybrid or whatever. So choose that. Put that as a filter. Put your maybe the companies that you want to work for as a filter. Put your position as a filter, and just instead of doing apply now, there's a button called apply now. Don't press on that. Don't press on that.
Okay.
So what you should be doing is that firstly, go to, maybe they're having like a thing on their website. Okay. So on LinkedIn, it's very cluttered from what I have seen. It's like every Tom, Dick and Harry is pressing on that apply now.
Right.
So instead of doing that, either go on their website, email them, go on, find the HR. You can find the HR who has posted the job.
The opening.
Find that HR, reach out to her. Instead of doing that, because then you will like at least stand out from the crowd instead of just doing that apply now that every second person is doing.
Got it. And even LinkedIn doesn't tell you, right? Like when you see these postings and stuff, you see that 200 plus people have applied.
Yeah.
But there could have been like 1,000 people.
More than that, because it's such an easy thing now.
Right.
You just have to do apply now, put your name and put your resume that everyone has. It's a very easy process to actually, unless they have like a set of filtered questions.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. And also recently, I think Vedika, it was you shared a video on SSI, LinkedIn SSI, Social Selling Index. Now, this is something very interesting. And even in our college, IIM Code, our professor actually wanted us to improve that. There was actually an assignment on that. I would like you to, how did you come across SSI, and are you how does it help creators, Social Selling Index?
No, so that is just for you to understand where you stand when it comes to your LinkedIn in general being good or not, right? So it shows you that, okay, if it's in between this and this range, it's fine, things. So the only way you can improve your SSI, my SSI is still not out.
What is your SSI?
My SSI is, I think, 70 to 80 ka range.
That's
80 to
number.
It's a good number, but it's obviously still not there yet. But you basically have to work on your profile optimization. You have to work on writing content. They see how engaging you are in the community.
You have to
stuff
connect with the right set of people.
Yeah. So that's how you can improve your SSI.
Got it. All right. And I want to close this podcast pretty soon. Okay. But before that, I think anyone, even if if you're looking to get into LinkedIn content creation, if you're looking to get into Instagram content creation, what's most important is after creating the content is creating the next piece of content, right? Being consistent on the platform. And here, again,
consistency queen.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
The amount of reels you're rolling out, the amount of. So, what's your posting schedule like, and how are you so consistent on social media?
Okay, so it's really not that tough to do it. I have batch create content. I've spoken about batch creating. Batch creating is basically where you create content all together in one go, right? For that, you just need to work on your scripts and have that in place and shoot the content at the same day. It takes around 3 to 4 hours, but at least it's done for 1 to 2 weeks, where you don't have to think about that. That's for the Reels part of it. Similarly for LinkedIn, again on a Sunday, I sit and I write the content for the entire week, unless something important comes up and I have to write it in an impromptu manner. That's for LinkedIn. And even for Twitter, I sit down either on a Saturday or a Sunday whenever I'm free and write down 14 tweets. I post 2 tweets in a day.
2 tweets a day?
2 tweets a day.
Okay.
So
yeah, that's the minimum.
That's the minimum.
You need to post that much?
Yeah.
Oh,
3, 4.
Yeah. Okay. The more you do, the better.
Every time you load, so many tweets come, right?
Right.
That's very easy. Yeah.
So I'm not on Twitter.
Okay.
So but I follow a few set of people, but give me a reason. Why should I join Twitter? Why is Twitter important for me? Because I know it's important, but I never felt the need to post content.
No BS content.
Yeah.
Very less cluttered. It's not all cluttered. So precise. You can reach out to Elon Musk.
And he might reply.
He might reply. It's that crazy.
Because there are not many people on Twitter, right? You'll hardly see, I don't even think 0.005% of Indians are there on Twitter.
Okay.
It's
so what you mentioned on LinkedIn, on Twitter, it's even lower.
Yeah, it's even lower. It's even lower.
Okay.
And the best part is all the investors, the top investors, the top founders, unicorn founders, everyone is active on Twitter.
Got it.
Versus LinkedIn. Okay. So to reach out to people in the US, it's even easier. We close most of our outbound through Twitter.
Got it. Okay.
And for LinkedIn also, it's very accessible.
Okay.
So it's always better to have an audience on Twitter, because then people will reply to you. The probability of them replying to you just increases.
Got it. Okay. Yes, go on. We were talking about LinkedIn also.
Yeah. So Twitter, I do 14 tweets. I write. So it's all about batch creating. And then for the entire week, I have nothing to worry about. It's happening. I schedule it now. LinkedIn has a scheduling feature as well. So now I'm scheduling that. Twitter is also, you can schedule it. It's all, Twitter has its own tool for scheduling.
Even Instagram recently.
Right. Yep. Everyone has done it.
Yeah. It's giving social media managers time off, right? They can basically go on vacation for a short while.
For a change. So yeah, I mean, batch creating is the way to go. Otherwise,
Right.
it just gets
Overwhelming.
very overwhelming. Like you cannot.
Perfect. Thank you so much for sharing your insights, Vedika and Unnati. We are going to close the podcast soon. Like lots of learning today. Like you gave me a reason to start Twitter. Like basically from the thing I should, and like reaching people, influential people is of course something that I'm looking out for my own podcast. Thank you for sharing your tips on LinkedIn. Thank you for sharing your own journey. It was pretty interesting to see, and especially like you're not friends and how people who work together build a relationship over. It was a very insightful podcast. I would just like to have. Do you guys have anything to say to close things off to the audience?
Content creation can change your life. Don't just do it to be an entrepreneur of sorts. Just follow your passion as a content creator. You can be doing a job and then you're
Right.
creating content, right? Second, build your network. You might not know right now what you want to do. We are here with no ulterior motive. We don't know what we're going to do at the event, but we're just going to talk to people. We never know what happens next, right? We never know this becomes the best personal branding agency here in Dubai.
Wow.
Right.
Okay.
And third is once you've sorted your content creation and your network, upskill like anything.
Right.
Become that one unbeatable person in your field that everybody dreams to work with.
Right.
Your bank would never be empty.
And guys, these guys are, I mean, their agency is a six-figure agency. Again, when we talk six figures, not it's not Indian rupees, it's in dollars.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So if they're making more than $100,000 on a yearly basis, right? Like,
Yeah.
better listen to what she said. Yes, go on. Really.
Okay. I would actually say first upskill yourself, and then network. Because if you don't have anything to actually give to somebody, then that network is very vain and it
Right.
might not fruit to anything. So
Right.
upskill yourself as much as you can. Take any like opportunity you get, explore, and then niche down. Like don't just be like, oh, I just want to work for this thing and just keep
Just don't be jack of all
yeah.
trades.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. So
Got
try
it.
everything, but then niche down on one thing. Niching down is very important. That's
Got
the
it.
second thing. If you niche down, then the probability of growing just increases way more.
Understood.
Third thing would be to fake confidence until you actually make it.
Right, perfect. And I think the second aspect is what you've applied to your own agency as well, right? I mean, marketing agencies do so many services. They're 360 marketing.
Yep, we have niched down.
But you have completely niched down to just personal branding, and that too for the top management.
We've done everything that we've said.
Perfect. All right. Thank you guys for sharing this insight. And that is the end of the podcast, guys. Thank you for watching. Hope you found some value.